Hey everybody, today we're talking Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. As always, I'm your host, Brent, and today we're going to do an overview of this trade paperback of Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. Brent, why did you wait for the trade paperback? Well, I have some hardcovers, and frankly, I kind of like the trade paperbacks better. They're a little bit cheaper, you know what I mean? Although, by the time this thing came out, a year later after the hardcover came out, this was $20. The hardcover was $25. I probably and should have gotten the hardcover for, I believe it was like $17 on Amazon or something like that. Like you could get them at a discount, obviously. At DCBS or Organic Price Books, or what's the other one? CheapGraphicNovels.com, In-Stock Trades. Like you can get all that stuff there too. I just waited for no goddamn reason. But anyway, Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. What is this? This is the latest DC Crisis. Originally it was called Dark Crisis, and then in the middle of the book they said it's actually called Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, surprise! And it's like, okay, what's the big deal? All right, so what does this collect? This collects Justice League number 75, which is this issue right here, where Joshua Williamson and Daniel Sampere did this issue. This was like after, gosh, who was running? I think you had the run from Scott Snyder, and then you had Christopher Priest on there for a little while. I think he did 12 issues, and then you had a couple other people. It was kind of meandering, and then you had Death of the Justice League 75, where they apparently killed the Justice League. It's not really what happens, but it does set up all this other stuff. By the way, let me see if I can reach over here. Dark Crisis is a culmination, basically, of Joshua Williamson's other stories, all the way dating back from Infinite Frontier. So there's a lot of stuff that you don't have to read, but you can read. So I have these as well. We'll just show them off. Infinite Frontier, this is a trade paperback. It's massive. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. Number 0, as well as the regular series 1 through 6. So Infinite Frontier number 0 was like the original publishing thing after Dark Knight's Death Metal, where DC tried to relaunch and Wonder Woman disappeared, that kind of stuff. And then there was a team of weirdos that was assembled to go and fight things, and they were called the Justice League Incarnate. So they did that through here. They met other people. Things happened. I haven't read it in a long time. I need to go reread it. And then they spun off into their own book, Justice League Incarnate. This one also written by Joshua Williamson and Dennis Culver. Andre Bresson and Brandon Peterson are the main artists. As well as there's a bunch of other good art in here too. Who else? Yeah, Tom Derenick, Kyle Hotz, Paul Pelletier, Norm Ratman, Ariel Olivetti. Like, this is a team. It kind of varied from world to world and issue to issue on who you got. But yeah, so this is them discovering that the, who's the Dark is coming. That was kind of the end of this with Dark Pariah, and the Great Darkness of the Great Darkness saga comes in Dark Crisis, hence the name, right? So the Justice League dies, they disappear, you have all these taken over gods from the darkness, and again, that's not really important, but if you want to know why, go read Infinite Frontier and Justice League Incarnate. But yeah, Doomsday, all these black chains just means they're covered by the Great Darkness. Here's Dark Pariah. As we saw, he's all set up in those other series. And then here's this callback to Flash dying from Crisis on Infinite Earths, number, I believe it was 8, or was it 4 or 8? Anyways, early on, just them kind of disappearing. So then you're like, oh my gosh, they killed the Justice League. So that's how Justice League 75 ended, and you're kind of left with the new heroes, Tim Fox Batman, or Jace Fox Batman, Jonathan Kent Superman, Superboy, and Yara Flor Wonder Woman. taken over since the Justice League is gone. This is Dark Crisis number 0, which is the free comic book day from 2 years ago. It's drawn by Jim Chung. Phenomenal, phenomenal artist. And then you have the main series here with Dark Crisis. And Daniel Sampere doing the art throughout all of it. Does a phenomenal job. Like, I can see why they wanted him to do it. He's not the modern day Phil Jimenez, because Phil Jimenez is still around and still working, doing a kick-ass job on like Wonder Woman, Historia, but he is worthy of that level of detail in terms of a Crisis book. So if you're going to look at Crisis on Infinite Earths with George Perez, and then you're going to look at Infinite Crisis with Phil Jimenez, and then you have Final Crisis with J.G. Jones, and who else helped him out on there? Doug Mahnke and a couple of Carlos Pacheco. Daniel Sampere is a worthy successor in that line of, I'm going to call him realistic, but hyper detailed, realistic, wonderful artists in the line of the DC Crisis events. So I think he's a great fit here. But anyway, the main thing here is you have the dark villains in the very beginning. You have Slade teaming up and assaulting the Titans Tower, which is kind of like the replacement for the Justice League, since the Justice League is gone at this point. And all the heroes kind of banding together to figure out how to stop this army of supervillains without the main people of the Justice League, and Black Adam is the only one who survived. Recall, a year ago, Black Adam had a movie coming out, and everybody thought he was hot shit, so he kind of took center stage a little bit in this event, as much as he could, without actually ruining everything. Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, was still left over, and you had to have him going and looking for the Justice League. So the Justice League aren't dead per se. They're in other worlds, and there are other tie-in books that you go and find where exactly they're at. But they're somewhere in the multiverse, and then you have this big final battle. There's the Justice League. They kind of go get them in the series and also in the spin-offs. But then the Great Darkness comes with all these guys in these black chains to signify that they're controlled. And this is kind of Pariah's last stand, if you will, as a character. Hopefully we'd never see him again. And then a final battle to end all final battles in front of the Hall of Justice. It's pretty epic. I did like this part. And then you got Superman and Darkseid going at it. Some great team-up moments with Dad. That's pretty fucking cool. Yeah, I do remember this being like kind of exciting. So I'm excited to read it all again at once. And then everybody kind of gets Black Adam Shazam powers. It's weird. Again, Black Adam had a movie coming out. We thought he was cool. Or we thought The Rock was cool and we wanted Black Adam to be cooler. And then that's kind of the end of the book. So after this launches Dawn of DC. So that's kind of the era we're in now, is the Dawn of DC. And then this fall, we're going to get the culmination of this little teaser at the end with Absolute Power. So you have Amanda Waller, a Peacemaker. I forget what her name is. This is a different design for what actually became Failsafe. Although we'll see, he's got a yellow power ring there. I don't know who that is in the back. But yeah, I guess that's changed a little bit. But then you have this backup, the history of the multiverse. It kind of explains where everything has been for a while using some old panels. And then a variant cover gallery from all of the issues. Some designs also. Dan Mora, Red Canary. Dan Mora doing the Absolute Power event. Oh, this is cool. Dark Crisis number 3 by Michael Allred. So this is very similar to like the stuff they were doing in Superman Space Age. Go check out my overview and review of those books. If you haven't, they're awesome. Victor Bogdanovic. I kind of like his art. I like his stuff the more and more I see it. But yeah, lots of variant covers in the back here, as you can tell. The Rock, again, Black Adam had a movie coming out. We all thought it was going to be good, and it wasn't. But yeah, this is like composite Superman, Batman. This is from, oh gosh, I think the first story arc of Batman, Superman, World's Finest. Yeah, by Dan Mora and Mark Waid. As a variant, here he is again. That was coming out at the time. Here's homage to Final Crisis number 7 by Victor Bogdanovic again. And then some other variant covers. I don't know why they didn't just do, like you had every variant cover on its own page until you get to Dan Mora's quartet here. Why don't they get one? And then here's a tribute to George Perez, Perez. I believe he passed away as this was coming out. So this was his tribute of all the different characters he contributed to and created throughout the DC universe. So it's pretty special. Who did the art here, though? Dan Jurgens. Oh, there you go. All sorts of different artists contributed here. And here's your key. Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, Alex Ross, Walt Simonson, Scott Collins, Jerry Ordway, Francis Manipul. No wonder I couldn't tell. There's a whole bunch of different people here that I guess were pasted together in Photoshop, so to speak. But thanks to Dan Jurgens for doing the layout and the key in the back. So here's some Justice League graphic novels, some recommendations. You don't have to read all of these, but you could. So there's an overview of Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. After I read it, I'll do a review of it sometime in the long future, as we're currently going through a couple of other series. But I do want to get to this stuff because now that I have all three, I kind of want to read all three of these books in sequence to then get to this book, and then I could probably expound upon it a little bit more and kind of understand it more, because there were times when I was reading Justice League Incarnate that I didn't know where it was going, and Infinite Frontier especially. So I think it'll be cool to read all of these, although the main characters from Infinite Frontier and Justice League Incarnate are not the main characters. As you see, we have the Teen Titans, the second in line, except for Hal Jordan, who somehow doesn't die. But yeah, there you have it. Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of this book down below in the comments, and we'll see you guys next time in the Funny Pages.